game yesterday, we saw 8 arms with the bullpen game. How are you feeling just about the status of the bullpen today to help protect Walker if need be?
I think that there's certainly some guys that we're going to stay away from given their usage. I was just out there a little bit kind of trying to get a gauge on how they're feeling. Obviously a lot of it is contingent on Walker and how he throws the baseball, but I do believe that in a leverage situation we've got coverage, and also in a non-leverage we got enough coverage.
Walker Buehler has talked a lot about just the building blocks of this season. We're coming off of a strong outing in Atlanta. What were you seeing from him then, and how are you hoping to see whether it's another layer to it or just continuation of progress in the right direction for him?
I think with Walk, his last start, I thought overall he sequenced much better. I thought the command of all of his pitches was considerably better. This team over here is playing some good baseball, and there's a lot of familiarity with some of their guys. So I just think I look for a lot of the same tonight, moving the fastball around, knowing when to throw the cutter, knowing when to throw the sweeper, knowing when to throw the curveball, and things like that.
Shohei mentioned he was going to have a meeting about his pitching progression during the homestand. Has that happened yet?
It hasn't happened yet. It's going to happen, and he was throwing. I was actually out there watching his bullpen from afar right now, and looks really good. But I think that the powers that be are going to get together and figure out what's the best course of action for him.
Is that including whether or when he could face hitters? Will that be
exactly? I think all of that is going to be on the table.
I saw Anthony Bonda out there. I know you talked about him yesterday. Were you able to kind of get eyes on him and to see how his throwing progression has been?
He's in a good spot physically. He's pain-free. So I think tomorrow or today he was supposed to get off the mound and throw some sliders. So assuming that goes well, I'm not sure exactly the date that he's eligible to come off, but again, my assumption is that once that day hits, he'll be activated.
Dave, out of Shohei's 52 home runs, which one was the most shocking or the best home run to you?
I think probably the one that really, maybe the one I think he hit one to right center field at home. I don't remember what number that was. That was pretty remarkable. We almost hit it out of the stadium. The grand slam on 40 was pretty spectacular. Then I think even one of those day games, I think he hit a homer off a lefty to center field. I was really impressed with that one, but there's so many. Even the ones that he hits a line drive that somehow get out of the ballpark. So he just, each night it seems like something special is going to happen.
At the start of the year, some of the guys talked about the certain kind of mystique that was around him when he first came to join you guys. Is that still there at all with him? Obviously, the guys have gotten to know him better, but is there still a bit of an aura when he's around, and especially given the year he's kind of having?
It is. I think part of the mystique is he's very private. Obviously, the language keeps people guessing, but I do believe that he speaks better English than he lets on. But also, I think people are also amazed at how he has such impact in our sport, and how he remains humble and remains focused on doing his job. So I do think there's an aura about Shohei.
What's the plan for Tony tonight? I know
Tony, I think the plan is, I think it's, I don't know, it's 4-60, 5-75, something like that. But he's been good, so we just got to keep building him up. And if this one goes well, then I think that a conversation with him joining us at some point is more tangible. But yeah, today's a big one for Tony.
With 8 games left in the regular season, is he someone that you'd like to see in a regular season game before potentially using him in the postseason?
I think it would be ideal, but not necessarily has to happen. And that's for our kind of benefit, Tony's benefit. But the most important thing is that we feel confident with his rehab.
Can he be a starter in the postseason, or would you view that more of a bullpen guy?
I think the great thing about Tony is that he's done both. So I don't think that it's. I think it could be either or, and I think that they both kind of separately have their own value. Number one, just kind of get right, build up, and then we'll kind of assess where our staff is at in totality.
Can it be like, I hate using the word piggyback, but can it be a situation where maybe you can get a 3-3 out of a couple guys?
I think this year it's, the unconventional is certainly a very high possibility. Again, once we kind of get through the season and see who's viable, then we'll start trying to figure out the roles for guys.
Yoshinobu tomorrow, he came back so quickly. The rehab was shorter than probably it could have been. Are you impressed with how he's gotten healthy so quickly, or how competitive he's been since he's been back?
Not surprised on either account. Not surprised how quick he came back because of the work that I knew he was putting in. Not surprised on how competitive and how good Yoshinobu's been, given where we're at on the calendar and how important these starts are for him.
What's he done that's kind of jumped out in these two starts?
I think the first one really in particular is having command of all of his pitches, the breaking balls, the fastball. The last one wasn't as commanded as good as the other one, but I still believe that there's a real good intent and focus in Yoshinobu.
Dave, I think you were watching his bullpen yesterday. Were you watching his bullpen yesterday? From afar?
From afar.
Yeah. How do he look?
He looks great. He looks really good. Yoshinobu's a great worker. Everything, I don't know if it's part of the culture or what, but he's very detailed. Every little thing matters. He works for a purpose, and from what I understand, it was a really good bullpen, and what I saw.
What do you expect from him tomorrow?
What's that?
What do you expect from him tomorrow?
I expect him to, I think the hope was that he would get through 6 innings for us. That'd be great.
So, does he still have any pitching limits, or?
Yeah, I think, this is only his 3rd start back, so, if we can get him through 6 and 90, I think would be possible.
What do you need to see from Tony Gonsolin before making a decision to put him in rotation?
Well, I don't know if it's going to be rotation. I think that I'll talk to the guys and see how he looked tonight, how he felt, and then also it's got to be also what we need up here. But just make sure the stuff's good. The fastball, the split, the slider, the curveball, he feels good, and all that stuff as well.